the slightest upturn of it. It's like the most emotion I've ever seen him show in my life.
Yeah. No, he actually looks happy here. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I know my pal Andy too. I think if you look at the pictures where he's won the Opens, he's not even as happy as he is here. It's like flatlined and like a slight curvature at the corner of his mouth.
Sure. Yeah, Andrew always just is like, hey guys.
It was a really good time for him to spike though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The good old Andy J. I guess I'll play this tournament. All right. I guess I'll win this tournament.
Yeah. No, a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been. It was actually funny. So you know Orlando Lucas?
Yeah.
So
he didn't want to play in the tournament.
Yeah, he didn't want to play in the tournament. Wanted to quit the tournament. Almost top 8'd.
Yeah.
Said he was going to quit afterwards, and he's like, "All right, I guess maybe I won't quit." But we were talking, and he was just like, "I just lost to Andy for top 8 or whatever," and I was just like, "Yeah, I mean, Andy's just the better player," and he was just like talking about like all these things, and I was like, "I think you might not understand what I'm trying to say. I think Andy might actually just be the best player in this tournament."
Mm. No, he is.
Like, actually just the best player. I'm not just like saying anything else.
Like when I used to make the statement that Brennan is the best player in the SCG Tour, I said that with the caveat that like Andy J didn't play all the time, so he didn't count. Like,
Yeah.
Well, we knew that. That wasn't even a question. No, I mean, like I think Andrew is very, very good. I think, I mean, he's even said like he thinks Frank Scarron is better than him, which I don't know if is necessarily true. Like I think that might him be overestimating Franklin's skills, and then like Brad and like Jerry are probably better than him.
yeah, but those also don't count for that argument.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Well, I mean,
like,
those are like the only people who I think.
well, those 3 players
Colin
don't play
was pretty
SCG
cool.
events, so.
Also,
And
Ben too. Ben is another one.
Nikolic,
No, God no.
Friedman.
we are live.
Yeah. Listen, I'll stand by what I just said.
No, again, like you're naming people that don't play on the SCG Tour at all. Like literally don't play.
Benny F used to play back in the day.
Yeah, what, 5 years ago? Like,
No, he has an invitational finals.
yeah, he showed up to those because he could play in them. He didn't show up to opens. It's just like the same thing as like,
He's open finals in Baltimore in 2017.
yeah, because like he's from like didn't he live in the Baltimore area in 2017?
Yes, I stayed with him that week.
Yeah.
At his home. That is correct.
All right, do y'all want to get started or?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just hopping into it.
Ooh, Oarsman79. Tannen, you have to man up. You are too afraid of bad-mouthing people, says the guy who bad.
Why is my chat not working?
Hey, Joe used to play SCG events.
Was that in my chat? Because I'm not getting that. Oh, I just got a different. Okay, what the hell? My chat was definitely not working. Now it is.
Okay, so just to be clear, we'll go intro. We'll do in-view review, standard, modern. I'll talk about Nova for. Actually, I'll talk about Nova for a second.
Dude, nobody wants to hear about Nova. What the fuck is
We
Nova?
had a player in the top 4. Where was your player in the top 4 of the Invitational, Tannen?
I don't know. They don't exist.
Oh, yeah, weird. Well, our players are in the top 4. Get wrecked.
Team Nova versus Team Bacub.
Yeah, Brad, didn't you like? Did you say something about like stealing the chair?
J, always.
Did you say something about stealing the child's chair or whatever?
Yeah, he keeps talking at our shoot group chat about how he's gonna steal Austin's chair.
I never said the word steal.
Acquire.
I simply said,
Acquire.
yeah. Well, Austin has my chair that he won for winning the season.
Yeah, someone made a good point. I didn't drive to the event. Did you see the funny thing? Did you see me tweet about how the guy on the plane next to me just like randomly played Magic and like was like, "Oh my god, you're a Magic player." We like chatted, and then somebody commented with, "That dude's winning the next Open."
I hope he does. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Is that the new garbage fire team of wannabe contenders? Wow. But I gotta say, if Joe, shut the fuck up. That's
Oh,
number one. Number two. Number two. All right. You're like the. Okay, what do you want to compare us to? Do you want to compare us to BCW, the Yankees of the Open Series? All right, that is literally getting carried on the back of Brennan DeCandio. Now he's gone. So now what are they going to do? I guess they're going to probably
let's
just
not
pay
forget the most talented team on the SCG tour at one point, but is no longer.
The
BCW is still there, Brad. What are you talking about? We're still there.
No, we all know MG was the best team.
Isn't it nice that we get to actually make this argument that we're all like sponsored Magic players?
Team MGG was the best team because they had Andy J.
Well, no. Seriously though, isn't it awesome that we get to have this argument since we're all like sponsored Magic players? Since we're all sponsored by a nice, corporation that sends you stuff and money and gets you to events.
Oh yeah, we're all sponsored by a corporation. Tell us what that's like, Tannen.
Don't you
Brad and I
my
have
friend
no
Rudy
idea.
and his team.
I was serious though when I first said it. Isn't it awesome that we were on like teams and stuff or on teams? And then I was like, oh wait, yeah, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get any money.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get a BCW sponsorship. You just wait.
I just want to say, Tannen, maybe it's about the love of the game, man. Maybe it's not all money. Okay.
Well, that's all there is for Tannen. And there's just money because Brennan and Ross keep donating to him over and over and over again, but in the form of SEG checks instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, Nova wants a Sonic Tater Top sponsorship. What's up?
Oh yes.
What's up, Brad?
I just picture Brennan being like, "Yo, Tannen, I got this hookup. I know these guys. They're called SUG. They'll pay you really well this year. You just stick with me, kid.
You just stick with me, kid."
Hey,
Can
Brad,
you be like this on the show more often? It'd be great if you actually did this when we were recording.
Wow,
I would love that.
I just woke up, guys. I don't have a filter. No.
Do you know what else? Yeah, that's perfect. Could we have that more on the show? Because we would all like to hear that more from the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I would love if I could record some of the bullshit.
Hey, real quick. Shout out, hold on, real quick. Shout out to my favorite sub. They're in the chat right now. Goober, you're the man.
Goober.
I love Goober too. Goober is 10 out of 10. Actually,
Goober's the nut.
Goober is 12 out of 10.
That's not how that works, Bradley.
Actually, he's a 15 out of 1.
You're being a real 1 out of 10, Tannen.
All right, let's start the show. Start talking and stuff.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Before I wake up.
Wait. Hold on. Before we start, there's something important. Brad said he was going to do the intro.
Oh shit!
I did not forget.
That's very true.
I did not forget. So Brad is going to do the intro. I hope you're ready.
All right, let's limber up for this beast.
Brad, I love your name this week, by the way.
What did All That Snows?
All That Snows, yeah.
It was supposed to be All That Snow.
All dat, like DAT, all dat and snow.
My favorite one was Tannen's trophy.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, Brad potatoed for a second. All right, we're good.
Oh no!
No, you're good. It was only for like a second. We're good.
Don't. Did you also notice that Brad and I have the same computer chair now?
That's true. Rudy's is white though. His looks better. Mine looks like
racist.
Peed on.
I need to get an actual computer. I'm using like one of those little like crappy ones. I need to get a real one. But all right, are we getting this done?
Recording in 5, 4, 3.
Wait, what do I say again? I'll figure it out. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Grinders Cast MGG. I have no idea what episode we're on, or if we even do that in normal intro. But we had a fantastic week of Magic, lots of news. How are you guys doing this week?
That was pretty solid. Brad. I'm impressed.
It's episode 60.
I will say this. I think the most impressive thing is Brad kept a level tone through the whole thing and didn't crack up or laugh or made light of himself. That was impressive, Brad. Good job. Maybe we'll let you do it again before the 90th episode or whatever.
Wow. I think I've only
90
done
is
it.
A lot.
This might be the third time I've done it in 60 episodes, so
It might be the 4th or 5th. I feel like you've done it a few times, actually.
Yeah, I think Rudy's at 10-ish. You're probably at 4, and I'm the other 50. Or
Tannen
47.
Loves.
I was like, I don't know what math you were doing there, but
Hey,
Sounds. I could agree with those numbers.
I corrected it.
I do a lot. I do. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, hold on, I don't have enough fingers and toes. I lost a few to frostbite this weekend, because if anybody saw what went on in Roanoke, while Rudy and I were there for the Invitational, boy, was it cold. Rudy, I mean, were you expecting it to get as bad as it did?
No, I hate snow. Part of like the benefit, right, for me moving down south was to avoid snow altogether. And then I drive back up now north to Virginia to hit more snow, and I just, hate it so much. Just hate everything about the snow. I hate everything about cold. Just give me sun, give me sunshine, give me some nice cool breezes. I can't stand the snow.
Like, it actually snowed in Baton Rouge last year, where I live, for the first time in my entire life since I was like 2. I think, and I honestly don't remember it. Like, there's some pictures of it at my parents' house. So it was actually the first time. Impressive. It was the first time I'd actually physically played with snow in my life. I had never like made a snowball, picked up snow. Like, I've seen it before, like driving through mountains when I lived out in Vegas, but I had never actually like physically interacted with snow before. And yeah, 33-year-old Tannen, first time ever with snow. So not a fan. Definitely not a fan. It's cold, it's wet, it just messes stuff up. And then, can you imagine Baton Rouge, Louisiana, how it reacts to snow? It doesn't matter how much it is. It could be like 6 inches. The entire city shuts down completely. We are not prepared.
That sounds awful. Yeah, I was surprised actually. I'm originally from up north, and in New Jersey, New York, when it snows, you can tell that it snows, but you can't tell on the roads because the roads are always clear. They're just very on top of it. It's just something that they have to deal with constantly. So it's something that they're very prepared for. And in Virginia, when I was down there, I was on the drive back today, and we can get into this in a second. I got trapped in Virginia for over a day. And when I was driving on the roads a little bit, it did not seem like they were remotely prepared. I saw a couple people start to spin out on the way back, and we couldn't even leave the house that we were in. It was just not possible for us to gain any traction to leave because we didn't have 4-wheel drive. Yeah,
I heard that the little Austin Collins almost didn't make his match for the top 8 of the Invitational.
Yeah, poor little Austin Collins, but shout out to Austin. I don't know if you know this, but he's played in 3 Invitationals.
Oh,
and he's top 4. He has top 4 to all 3 of them.
Wow, so 3 for 3 on top 4s. That's absurd.
It's actually just the best stats, and that's I think he actually has the best stats for the Invitationals, and that's including the fact that Jacob Wilson has played exactly 1 and won it. And I think you could argue that Austin has better stats than Jacob Wilson.
I don't know. 1 for 1 is like pretty hard to beat because that's 100% Rudy, and that's how math works, and you can't beat that. But
Austin's 100% to top 8 in Invitational.
Okay, I guess we put it that way.
100% to top 4.
Yeah.
100% to top 4 in Invitational.
Sure.
And any given Invitational.
I'm not trying to downplay what he's doing because what he's doing is absurd.
Absolutely not. But yeah, it is absolutely absurd. But Austin is obviously pretty good when he plays good decks. If you looked at both of his decks, he played KCI, which is potentially the best deck in Modern, and we'll certainly get that, and it might actually just be the actual best deck.
It's very possible.
Green, Black, and Standard, and Green Black is just one of the best decks in Standard. Standard's great right now, but Green Black is just one of those decks that you can kind of build and tune and kind of flip around. It's it is a literal overgrown tube deck. You're playing a bunch of creatures and good removal spells, and I hope it lines up right. And for Austin, everything lined up pretty well on its way to another top 8.
Yeah, not just that either, but he is the second half, the second half player of the season, I guess.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2 point champion.
He won me a gaming chair.
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Because I read a status from Austin that said, "No, Brad, you can't have my gaming chair. It's mine."
He got a couple of sweet prizes.
He can't take my gaming chair. That's not how that works. Listen, before Vegas, he wrote me a letter in crayon, and it said, "You're my friend, and you can have the gaming chair since you teamed with me, as long as we random stipulation that I'm making up for the sake of me to have game chair." Anyway, so we met that stipulation that I just made.
Can we see this letter?
If I could find a red crayon and forge it, I would. But I only have yellow, and when I wrote it on a piece of paper to recreate this, because this is how far I was going with it, it just looked terrible, and I was
were you really going to recreate it?
Yeah, and then I was gonna put it on Twitter and make it look like Austin wrote it with like, third grader handwriting.
This is some commitment, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah.
You could have still done this had you not like explained it on the show.
Yeah, but I'm like way too.
He's way too
lazy
deep. It's
like,
over.
I'm not gonna go look for a crayon. Like I was like digging through drawers last night while my dad was in the living room, and like I just can't imagine what he would have said if he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like digging for a crayon that I think is in this junk drawer. Unfortunately, I only found yellow though. Anyway, so it's my gaming chair. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I cannot wait to see Austin post a picture of it in his house because he's using it.
Yeah, and him disassembling it and putting it in a box and sending it to me. Anyway, congratulations to him.
Yeah,
anyway,
for sure.
so congrats to Austin. I know Austin was actually in a very tight race too for the seasonal player standing because Zan was 2 points ahead of him coming into this, and Aaron Barrich was not that far behind.
Right.
So these three players were really in the thick of things.
Yeah, just any strong finish from either one of them. Obviously it's like Zan's in the quote unquote driver's seat going into it, but the thing is like it's not like your typical open where the points are a little more closely packed together. I don't know if you've looked at the point distribution, but man, do invitationals count for a lot. I didn't realize how much invitationals count for, and because like I thought I had a really good year, especially like for how little I played, and then I was like, man, how are these people so far ahead of me? I've done better than them like during the season, and then it looked like, oh, because I've done shit in the invitationals, and they've actually played reasonably well in those, and I was like, oh, so we get a lot of points there. So it's pretty important. You have to show up to the invitational if you want to try to win one of these. What's up, Brad?
Also, Tannen, team events aren't worth as many points.
Yeah, that I noticed as well. So yeah. We didn't.
Team events were worth a surprisingly low amount. I remember getting top 16 with Joe Lissette and Kyle Bogums and looking at the points and being like, wow, I feel like I barely day two'd a normal open.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it was a crazy weekend overall. For anybody who didn't know, SCG Con went on in Roanoke, Virginia. The weather actually wasn't that bad when we first got there. It was cold, but that's about it, right? And so, that's, you can like wear extra layer of clothing, you can be fine. But the problem was, Saturday night into Sunday morning, it rained, and then it turned into snow, and there was a lot of it. And so they had to actually shut the hall down practically. Like, they didn't really like shut it down to the public, but they were like, don't come. We have no public events. They did the top 8 for the Cube Draft and the top 8 for the Invitational, and that's it. And some of the players almost didn't make it to the event. I think Austin Collins wasn't the only person who had a problem. I think there was somebody else that had, like some of the Cube Drafters, I think might have had.
I feel like there was one or two other issues at the moment.
But there was some crazy stuff going on. People were helping each other out, as it usually happens in the Magic community. Everybody got there. Everybody got to play. Thank God. It was pretty cool. So I got to watch a little bit of it. I don't know if anybody heard or follows me on Twitter or whatever, heard about what happened to me. But Saturday during day 2 of the Invitational, while I was in the midst of a huge losing streak, I got a text from American Airlines, and they were like, hey, your flights have been canceled, but don't worry, we've rescheduled you. And I was like, oh, cool, they took care of me or whatever, right? So I opened up my Gmail account, look at the email they sent me, and they're like, remember, this is Saturday, and I had a flight for Sunday. And they're like, we have you on one of the first flights out on Tuesday out of Roanoke. And I was like, I have a family, I have a job, I need to get home. So I had to try to figure that out. So after hours of trying to figure it all out, I'll try to give you the shortest way possible of what happens. So Saturday night, about 8:30, the judge, Nick Saban, not the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, so Todd, not your coach, but the judge, Nick Saban, or Nicholas Saban as I like to call him, so it's differentiating. He offers to drive me to Raleigh, North Carolina, where he lives. And I found a flight out of there at 8 a.m. the next day. So we drive across Virginia into North Carolina into this place, right? So he drops me off at a hotel that's by the that's by the airport, and the reports are like, hey, it's going to snow at 7 a.m. So I'm like, all right, I set my alarm for 6. I'm just going to get up, get an Uber, get to the airport, and beat the snow, right? I wake up at 6, and the entire city is covered in snow. It started snowing at 4 or 5 in the morning. Lucky for me, they had a shuttle running from the hotel to the airport. And I don't know how this shuttle person knew what they were doing. I guess they've made this drive a million times. I couldn't see the roads. There was no, Rudy, you talked about how they plow the roads in New York and New Jersey and the roads are always clear. It was just snow. So we somehow made it to the airport in one piece, get to the airport. My flight's like one of the only ones not canceled, so we're running pretty good, right? Get on the flight gets out onto the tarmac, and then we need to be de-iced on the tarmac. So that takes about an hour. So I miss my connecting flight. So I have to fly up to Philly, and then I miss my connecting flight that's going to go bring me back to Baton Rouge, and I should be home at noon. Instead, I have to fly to Dallas. At Dallas, I have to get onto a... I'm sorry. When I'm in Philly, I have to actually get onto a standby to get to Dallas. But I got insanely lucky. I was the only person led onto this full flight in Dallas, and all of the flights into Dallas, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, everything were like completely full, and I just got super lucky to get there and then get home. So I ended up getting home at about 7 o'clock on Saturday night, so about 23 hours after I started like trying to get home. So it was a crazy weekend. I ran real good to get home at a decent time and stuff, but the Magic didn't go great. I know you and I both had a rough day or two in there, Rudy. We actually got to play in the event too. I think was that the first time that we've played in a sanctioned match.
It is not the first. It was funny enough, and this is something that I talked to you when we got.
That doesn't count.
Paired, is we've been paired before, but we never actually got to play.
Wait, are you talking about the team event or did we draw?
The team event.
Right. That doesn't count.
We didn't technically get paired, but no,
Yeah.
it was the first time we got to play.
We were as far from each other as could possibly be while being paired.
Tana was the start of I guess a really bad trip. I went 3-1 in Modern. I lost a pretty close match. Then I beat Jerry Thompson first round of Standard, and so it was 4-1. And I don't know if you know this, but you only need 5 wins to make day 2 of the Invitational, and they did not make day 2 of the Invitational. So
Yeah.
it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough to say the least. I really liked my deck choice, but I mean, I lost like a couple close games to Tannen. We played like 2 really close games, and then I got curved out, and that happens sometimes. And then the next game I played against, I played an Izzet Mirror, and my opponent went turn 7, Niv Mizzet, dive down.
Oh, they assembled the combo.
Yes, and I looked at my hand of 2 Niv Mizzets and my field of 5 lands twice, and went,
Good
"We're
guess.
dead. we're dead."
So I would like to point out one important thing on this show. So I have now played each of you once. And I'm the only one with a win. That's all I'm going to say. I am 2-0.
I'm the only one with losses. I'm the only one. I cannot seem to beat either of you.
Have you and Brad played?
Twice.
Yeah, like 5 times or something.
I
never lose to Rudy.
It's been twice. Brad literally like was playing Infect, and I played Judd, and I just have 6 cards in my hand, and he just like has a Blinding Age, and he just looks at me and just like goes in the tanks for a long time, then goes, "Attack you, pump infinitely," and I'm just like, "Yep, I'm dead," and I just show my hand. It's just 6 lands.
What kind of hand did you keep?
One with Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, Inquisition of Kozilek, and Thoughtseize.
He wasn't particularly close.
Yeah.
I also beat him when I was playing Death and Hexes, and I was playing 4-color Delver. That was
I literally that was great. Brad draws and he goes, "Gurbag Angler, go," with no cards in hand. I draw and I go, "Rest in peace."
Yeah.
Go. So it was a little unfortunate, but that's okay. I had a good time. I sometimes I hate playing against my friends because I want my friends to win, but I also like winning as well. So it's like that weird spot.
Yeah. Speaking of friends, didn't you unveil a new team this weekend, Rudy?
I did. So if you did notice, Austin Collins, who we were talking about before, happened to be wearing a jersey this weekend, and that's because he's on Team Nova, which is going to be a new Star City Games Tour team moving forward. The goal is to get everybody qualified for the Players' Championship. This is something that has been in the works for a while, but we haven't really been able to talk about it. Didn't want to spoil it because if we do anything, if we say anything, announcement coming, everyone knows at this point what's going on. But the team is going to be myself, Austin Collins, Will Pulliam, Chad Harney, Drake Sasser. And we also got somebody coming back to the SCG Tour after a couple-year break. We got Harlan Fearer as the 6th member of the team. So we're going to have a pretty solid squad coming up. Brad is also... I hesitate to say Brad is a part of us, but he's in our team chat, and he's going to start streaming under the Nova logo. So that's going to be kind of nice, moving forward to have such a professional full-time streamer.
I'm the secret talent behind the team.
Brad, you're a part of me, Brad.
I'm in the show.
You're a part of me, Brad. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of nice. So I'm really looking forward to playing with this team. There's a lot of like really strong individuals.
Yeah, that team sounds super stacked. Like seriously, you guys are gonna have a very good year. You've already started out better than almost every team there is. I mean,
yeah, our year is Austin Collins top 4 of the enemy, but that was obvious. Like we knew that coming in. That's partially why we grabbed Austin, because we knew he was gonna, just top 4, so had to sneak him in before anything happened. But
regular season doesn't matter with him. All that matters is the Invitational of Austin Collins.
But I mean, it does. Austin is like a very talented magician. So I'm pretty excited. Pretty much looking forward to being able to play with him over the next year. Recently I moved in. Will Pulliam moved in with me, and it's been great talking to him about Magic and working with him. Drake I've known for like a pretty long time. Harlan I've obviously known forever. So and Chad's kind of new, but I've liked talking to him so far. He seems to have a good head on Magic, and he beat Tannen in Delvermere, which I don't know if you know this. Tannen does not really lose in Legacy very often, and he especially does not lose Delvermeres, as Brad can attest to.
Snap. With Delver, the better player always loses. That's what I've.
I was gonna say
I dumpstered Drake's Asser when we played, and it was not really close. So that's how it works.
About the Chad match, he didn't just beat me. He demolished me. Like, it was bad. Yeah. He beat the crap out of me.
Yeah, Chad is a strong player, so I'm pretty excited for the squad. Part of the reason we're going with 6, I know some of the teams, Lotus Box obviously had 5 for like a pretty long time. They recently added a 6. I know BCW's on 5 currently. We'll see what comes in the new year. They'll probably be sticking with 5 though, if I had to guess. And we went with 6 because there's a bunch of team events for next year, and we kind of wanted to be able to help and boost each other up and work with each other to make sure that we all try to get qualified. And team events are one of those things where you spend a lot of time kind of like running around in circles, always trying to make sure that you have like your team set and people locked in their positions. And one of the things that we've seen is Tannen has teamed with Ross and Brennan for so long, and they top 8 and they dominate every team event. And it's not, an accident that this is happening. It's because they've kind of all put themselves in these positions that they're very good at, and they work together and they can trust each other and they can work with each other very closely and confidently. And that's something that I certainly would like to replicate with Nova as well.
Speaking of Brennan DeCandio, a couple things. A, I'm not looking forward to playing team events without him right now. That's going to suck because that kid's good. B, he's a proud new papa. He had a kid about 5 hours ago. So little Danny, brand new to the world, brand new DeCandio in here. So look out in about, 14, 15 years. She's going to be crushing the Open Series, I got to say, or whatever the equivalent's going to be.
I'm not going to call her anything but Dad. If anyone doesn't know, her name is Danielle Ann. Danielle Ann DeCandio.
So her initials are actually just Dad.
So her initials are Dad. So,
Fair
Dad
enough.
has a dad. So that'll be great. But yeah, congrats to him. Anyway, but I'm looking forward to next year. I think one of the things that we're looking forward to, one of the things we're going to get into later when we start talking about esports, is how important teams are going to be kind of moving forward, especially when it comes to branding and boosting, coverage and, making things very interesting on the SCG tour, and being able to have this kind of cool dynamic between like BCW and Nova and Lotus Box is going to be really interesting. It's going to be, kind of a fun fight every weekend. It's just, let's see how Lotus Box did, let's see how BCW did, let's see how Nova did. Hopefully, maybe we can talk to Nick Miller. Maybe he can put logos next to our names on the leaderboard. That would be kind of cool.
They do that, actually. At least they did in the past where...
They did in the past. I haven't seen it in a while, though, but it would be awesome to see. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to next year. Tannen, I hope you're ready for some competition.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually looking forward to it. I love to see you with a fire burning, you actually want to play Magic and stuff. And all the players on your team, I think that's the thing I'm most excited to see from you guys is it's a team of people who want it really bad. And when I think of Drake Sasser in particular, all I can think about is how bad he wants to prove himself when he doesn't even need to. We all know how good of a player he is, but he has that, you know what I'm talking about. You can see that on a player. You can see the desire to be better every time they play, to learn every time they're doing something. Also, he's just a great guy. I don't know if you've hung out with him much,
Oh yeah, I love
yeah.
Drake. I get to hang out with him in Vegas. I'm looking forward to hanging out with him a lot more. Drake's somebody that I've known on the SCG tour for a while because I'm kind of familiar with like some of the group that he travels with, and so I met him through that. And we've been friends for a little bit, but we've actually started to get a lot closer recently. And I've really enjoyed the conversations that I've had with Drake. And it doesn't seem to me that, I mean, you're right. He definitely certainly has a fire burning very bright. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't like have any impact on me at all. It makes me also want to do better. But like, he's also just very fun and happy and energetic to be around. You know, whenever I talk to him about Magic, I don't get this like push-pull dynamic that a lot of normal grinders have where it's just like, well, I think this. Well, I think that. It's just, well, I think this. This is why I think this. Why do you think your thing? And we actually have discussions, and it's been a really refreshing change of pace from, you know, talking to the average grinder, because that's just how, I mean, and this is going to sound mean, but if this is how you feel about your friends, you need to change how you and your friends act, and that's just the end of it. You got to like try and end this like kind of like push-pull bullshit dynamic where you're trying to just big dick each other all the time. And
wow,
I mean, it's just true.
I feel like you're just describing a conversation between you and Will, and I love it.
Will and I sometimes do get, you know, on top of each other. Obviously, you know, Will is like doing very well right now. I'm certainly very proud of him. You know, I always want to support him. But at the same time, we obviously, you know, do big dick each other, but we don't big dick each other in a way that is, you know, like we don't like, oh, big dick each other and then we're done talking. We're just like big dick, and then it's just like, I'm better than you. I have 3 trophies. And then it's just, okay, well, let me talk to you about why I think this. And then we actually have a legitimate discussion about things. And I think that's like, it's just nice and new. And I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like a dickish person sometimes. So I do have this semi-aggressive personality, and Will does too. And that's why we love each other and live together and, you know, all that good stuff.
Aww.
So something else about the Invitational. I believe there was a called shot this weekend by somebody on the cast. Brad, I think you called who was going to win this Invitational, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah, I remember. It might have been like on the cast, but I remember you. But I remember you telling me Andy J was going to win, so like don't even bother show up.
I'm a genius. I always knew I was a savant.
Are you in a bottle?
He lives in a lamp.
You know, it's not surprising seeing Andrew win. You know, I taught him everything he knows. Don't ask him to confirm that. And you know, I've been helping Austin as well, so it's not a surprise to see him do well. It's just really, since I couldn't be there, it was cool to see me there in spirit.
Did you also help Danny Jessup too?
No.
So he just is good on his own without you.
Yeah, no. Dan is a phenomenal player. He doesn't need my help.
But Andy and Austin does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's,
you know,
I think that's great.
Andrew has a lot of confidence issues. You know, when and you know, I'm there to boost his confidence. You know, he usually will have a conversation with like, wow, Brett, you know, I was a little worried that I didn't sound super smart. But after talking to you, I know I'm just clearly a genius, so good to go. And you know, he just showed up and just crushed. It was awesome.
Yeah,
super happy to see him crush.
Both Jessup brothers top 8 at this Invitational, by the way, which is pretty cool. Like that's gonna be something like, yeah, they have that good natured, like, you know, the better Jessup thing going on, and I mean everybody knows that Andrew's better anyway. Sorry, Dan, but you know, it is pretty cool to share that, right, with your brother. Like, that's got to be amazing.
People can give Dan crap for that, but if you actually look at the amount of time that they each put
Magic, for sure. Yeah.
It's like Dan doesn't play Magic. He shows up to tournaments and then just plays the decks. And like you can always count on Dan to play, you know, as long as it's not like a super intricate deck or something where you need insane reps. Like he just understands how to play Magic at its core. And like he just shows up and he just always does like well.
Yeah, I think Dan is I think Dan is an extremely talented player.
Yes, just for reference, Dan works 60 hours before the Invitational. In the week before the Invitational, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, works 60 hours, and probably Sunday too, a little bit, depending on when you want to start your work week. And then flew out on Thursday. And he flew out after work. So he went work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fly out to the Invitational, work for 60 hours, top 8 the Invitational. That is like impressive of a feat on its own, because you know that means for that entire week, he maybe played like a league.
And probably not even that, honestly. Let's be real.
Maybe just like loaded up bad spirits, played a couple matches, and went, But let's talk about the decks that they played. Let's get into that a little bit. Dan did play Banned Spirits. Andrew played KCI. Also of note, Austin Collins also played KCI. If you look at the list of 7-1 or better, there's no other KCI decks. So is this a fluke? Did Austin and Andy just get in of their own volition on the back of their standard decks, or is KCI just a busted deck because Andrew looked great in top 8? He just looked like he could not lose.
I think KCI is just a busted deck, and I think the reason that we're not seeing it put up the numbers that you would normally see with a busted deck is that people just don't play it. Like, you're not seeing a ton of players play it. You're not seeing a ton of the top pros play it. Like, it used to just be Matt Nass, and then he won a couple Grand Prix, and then you see these players like Austin and Andy J picking it up and crushing with it and just getting better and better with it. The deck is really good. Do I think the deck is too good and needs to be banned? I'm not sure. I want to say no under that realm, like under the realm of like what Magic normally does for bannings. Is it bad for Magic to have this deck be good? Yes. I think it should be banned under that. I think it's almost akin to like the Sensei's Divining Top thing. It's like it's just bad for Magic for this deck to kind of exist. Because did you hear people talking about it? Like, it was all over Twitter. Like, they're like, I'm watching the top 8, and then like one of the players starts comboing off, and I just leave the TV for 5 minutes, and then I come back to see if they fizzled.
It's just like eggs too, like where you knew you were dead, but like you also can't expect players to go, oh, I know for sure this is where I'm dead, I should concede, because KCI is under this weird variety of combo decks where it is almost always possible for you to fizzle, and it never really happens. So you're very low percentage to fizzle. But when you start drawing cards with Trawler in play and you start cycling through everything and you just draw 6 to 10 cards in a span of like 2 minutes or less, you're pretty unlikely to fizzle. But there's always that chance that they just draw 8 of their 18 lands and then they're just dead. There's just nothing that they can do, and players just have this mentality where I don't understand when I'm dead, and I don't know exactly at what point I'm dead. All I understand is that this deck has a fail rate and people time out on Moto all the time, so maybe it's possible that I'm just not actually dead here. But I agree with you. It's literally like the eggs problem, where it just takes way too long to win, and we're breaching that territory where the deck isn't too good. I don't think the deck is too good. I think it's the best deck in Modern right now, but I don't think it's the best deck like Twin was the best deck, where Twin was just like far and away the best deck in the format.
I mean, it's just kind of easy, though. Like, you don't have to ban KCI, just ban Mox Opal. Like, that card's been an offender for a very long time. It's been too good for Modern for a very long time. They've had it on the watch list for, like, multiple years. Just get the card out of Modern. Like, it doesn't need to be there, and it hurts that deck enough.
Do you want to kill Hardened Scales, too? Is, like, Hardened Scales a deck you also don't want to see?
Who gives a shit?
Infinity a deck you don't want to see in Modern?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I feel like... but I feel like these decks are like fine enough. Like, you can just ban KCI and the deck.
I guess that's true.
On its own without killing anything else. I mean, we've seen Wizards do things like this in the past. They're never banning the offender card. They just don't do it.
I just want to point out that the Tron player is calling for the Mox Opal ban when I think it's Ancient.
It's not Ancient Stirrings. Yeah. Hey, Brad, you shut up and you do not see through my ruse ever again.
Yeah, the other bad thing is, like, if you ban Stirrings, like, that kind of makes Faithless Looting the most broken 1-drop in the format, and I think the Faithless Looting decks would be, kind of too powerful, regardless of whether or not the Stirrings decks. I mean, I'm not saying Stirrings is keeping Faithless Looting in check, but I think, like, the Faithless Looting decks just kind of become way too broken at that stage.
Yeah.
It's like, no, okay. Go ahead, Brad.
I do like Ancient Stirrings. I've grown to love Amulet Titan, so I would like to keep Ancient Stirrings around.
Oh yeah, that's another reason we should ban Stirrings. Fuck Amulet Titan players.
Because
hold on now, Rudy.
So here's the thing, right? It's like when you look at cards that got banned, when you look at Birthing Pod, they said that one of the main reasons they banned Birthing Pod was that limited design space in the future for creatures. They're like, we can't keep printing good and powerful creatures because of stuff like Birthing Pod. And then if you keep cards around in the format like Faithless Looting, like, you can't keep printing good graveyard strategies. Like, look what happened. You printed Arclight Phoenix and the format just like exploded. There's like all these people trying to break Arclight Phoenix, and we don't even know if we found the best build of it yet. And that deck has been crushing. There was a Modern Grand Prix this weekend on the other side of the country that did Arclight Phoenix did really well at. It did well at this event. It won the last Open. I mean, that deck is for real. I know you've been playing it a ton, Rudy, and you really like it. And I think we should just ban like the massive offensive cards. Stuff like Faithless Looting and maybe Ancient Stirrings, maybe Mox Opal, like just whatever. Just the thing is like if you do it, you have to do it all. You can't. It's like you said, you can't just leave one of them around while banning the other one, because then all of a sudden one of the strategies starts to dominate, and that gets really boring.
I'm not even sure that that's correct either. Modern is this really like weird format where there's just such a massive card pool that like shredding all the super powerful cards just kind of, I feel like it might just make the format akin to what's it called, Frontier.
The funny thing that I think is I don't think this is going to matter in like 3 years.
Oh, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think this whole argument is going to matter in 3 years, because I don't think we're playing Modern in 3 years. Not like it is now.
No, I'm sure there will be a new format that will replace
100%.
Modern. Modern will go the way of Extended at some point in time, because it's not at a point where I think they can feasibly control it anymore. I think at this point they're just trying to make it as open as possible, for people to play a wide variety of decks. And I think if that's what Wizards is looking for, they've accomplished it. The format feels, very wide open. If you want to take a look at like the 7-1 or better Modern deck list, it's Phoenix, Bant Spirits, Golgari mid-range. There aren't very many people who went 7-1 in Modern. Grixis Death Shadow won GP Portland. She was in one of the teams. It was one of the 3 in the teams that won the GP team tournament, I believe, in Liverpool. It's like kind of interesting that we kind of see, and we'll certainly talk about Shadow in a little bit, but I think we're at a point in Modern's format where you can kind of like do what you want, and it's not the worst thing. I just don't think Modern is in the worst place. Just kind of like do your thing, be prepared for your worst matchups, be prepared for KCI, learn KCI. Not that you have to play KCI, but learn KCI so you know when to concede, know when you want to move on, know how to attack it.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up. I'd like to bring up one of the 7-1, the Spirits player that you're talking about. That was Allison Warfield, by the way. Hell of a run at the Invitational this weekend.
I'm just want to point out something. I know Allison doesn't make day 2 of a lot of events, but every classic she plays, she just top 16s
or top 8s. Yeah, she's been crushing it.
8s. She's just actually just like very underrated and like flies under the radar a lot. So it's really nice, to see her, kind of start popping up and doing well. And I'm sure it will not. She's one of those players that at this point, it's not going to be long before she starts top 18 opens. And,
for sure.
One of those grinders that we start seeing, at every tournament, start popping up on the leaderboard and start doing really well. So if you haven't really kept an eye out on Allison, you should. She's just one of those people that eventually will start, bodying people, and you're going to be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, good old Arctic Meebo on Twitter. She's one of the co-hosts on the VClick podcast as well. Great podcast, so go ahead and check that out if y'all are looking for some more, if y'all are like hungry for some more Magic content and stuff as well. Great stuff over there. Brad, what were you about to say about your KCI opponent?
Oh, I just always ask my KCI opponent if I'm dead, and then usually
am I dead?
I trust that they aren't lying to me.
Yeah, the thing is like, this is a weird thing. There's been a lot of arguments in the KCI community about Mirror Retriever, because I don't think you need Mirror Retriever after playing the deck. I think a lot of people who play KCI a lot are also on stage with the we don't need Mirror Retriever, but Mirror Retriever makes a very easy loop of, Trawler, Mirror Retriever, Mox Opal, Pyrite Spellbomb, and you can basically loop those in, ad nauseum to 20 your opponent very easily, or infinite your opponent, assuming that that's the life total that they're at. You can just kill them very easily through everything. But I think it's in the deck a lot of times because that is the easiest way to say, here, you are dead. Here, I can explain how you're dead, instead of going, listen, I'm just going to draw like 20 to 35 cards, and then eventually I'm going to find my answer, and then eventually you're dead.
Exactly. So I know we have like a lot to talk about for Standard and Modern, and like, about the decks in particular and stuff, and we can maybe circle back to that. But there's something you mentioned earlier, and I want to make sure that we get into this on the show, because this might be a long discussion. But there was an announcement this week from Wizards, and it's kind of important for the future of the game. But I think this is the first time that I'm comfortable saying this, is that we're an esport now. and I've said this on the show before that like Magic can't be an esport, and I said that a bunch before Arena came out, and they're gonna try. So we're esports now, boys, or we're Hearthstone now, boys, whatever you want to say. This is actually like after reading through the thing, they're literally just like copy pasting the Hearthstone stuff. But so for people who didn't read it, it's a little TLDR. I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, but I'm gonna kind of like try to condense it down a little bit. Brad and Rudy, I know y'all have read this a little bit as well. So moving on to next year, there's going to be a lot of changes, including some of the stuff that was recently announced has already been changed or backtracked on. I want to talk about this just a little bit. I don't y'all are giggling because it's like typical Wizards, right? Like, oh, we have something. No, we don't. We have something. We're going to change it. I don't think this was. I think this was Hasbro finally stepping in and being like, look, we have the money, we have the funding, we're going to do this right. And was just like, okay, we got to back up a little bit because. Like you heard about next year, they're going to make this big improvement for Pro Magic. They're going to give us 6 Pro Tours. That's not a thing anymore. There's only going to be 4. Oh, by the way,
what's a Pro Tour?
Yeah, there's no longer a Pro Tour. They're called Mythic Championships now. So that's kind of a big deal. They're called Mythic Championships, and they're not Pro Tour, so there's no more Pro Tour champions. We'll have to see what happens with the Pro Tour Hall of Fame. And that kind of stuff.
You mean the Mythic Championship Hall?
Yeah, the Mythic Championship Hall of Fame. So it's going to be kind of interesting because we don't know all of the details yet. But here's some of the things we do know. I'm going to read some of this straight from the thing. There's a $10 million prize pool up for grabs in 2019 across digital and tabletop Magic. Very important. They said digital. That means Arena is going to get used in this. Most likely it's Arena. I hope it's not MTGO, but that's more than double what they paid out in 2018. The new system provides lucrative opportunities for pros, players, sponsors, and esports partners. They specifically mentioned sponsors and esports sponsors. This is something that Wizards has never done before in any of their stuff. So we're actually going to get you're going to be like, when you watch SEG and it's like SEG brought to you by Ultimate Guard. You're going to be having that now. When you're watching
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you're gonna Taco Bell, Twitch Prime, like just something along those. So that's something that's gonna go on. Here is one of the biggest changes going into next year that we don't know all of the details about yet. But there's going to be contracts for players next year. Kind of akin to like if you watch like Overwatch League, all those guys are on contract just like they are in the NFL, just like they are in the NBA. There's going to be 32 guaranteed contracts at $75,000 a piece. So these players are going to be comfortable. They're going to have a good wage. They can concentrate on just Magic if this is what they want to do. Who those 32 are and exactly how they're going to be picked, we don't know yet. I think it's safe to assume a few of them, like Owen Turtwald's going to be one of these 32. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Reed Duke's going to be one of these 32. But here's the thing. It's not just for them to play in the Mythic Championships as well. It says they're going to do profiles on all 32 of the players and talk about them, but it's not just a playing contract; it's a streamer contract as well. So that means that they're going to be like required to do some kind of amount of streaming. I don't know if that means on the Magic channel. I would assume the Magic channel is going to be almost 24/7 right now. By the way, I think there's going to be something all the time.
Yeah, I'd hesitate to say they'll all be on the Magic channel.
I don't think they'll all be on the Magic channel. I think they'll have guests like multiple. It's kind of like it is now. They're streaming more and more often. There's somebody on there almost every day.
Well, my suggestion is that that is not going to change. That is going to remain exactly the same that it is now, and then everyone is going to stream on their own channel for a period of time. So I think what I know some of the way the streamers work now is there's a lot of new streamers that are there's a lot of streamers for Overwatch that are actually like from teams. Mm-hmm. Like they're not actually part of the team, but they're sponsored basically.
Right.
If we're talking about sponsors, we're talking about esports partners. That's something that we might start seeing happening. It's just like, hey, check out, obviously none of this is real. Please don't come back and quote and say you said this because I didn't.
But you're saying it.
Well, yeah, like pretend you see Owen, Owen brought to you by HP, use his discount, for like an HP thing. Like I might see something like that, like that kind of thing happening in the future, especially if we start getting like, one of the things moving on. I'm sure we won't get HP since, there was Overwatch, but it's a nice, thing to think about that what wasn't a possibility before is now.
Yeah, and so like here's another thing I wanted to ask you too. So when I read this, I start like my brain starts going down all these possibilities and lines. Do you think this is going to be American centric? I think this is going to be heavily American and heavily English speaking people. And
Yeah, something I know you. I don't know how much of this you read, but it seemed to me that when I was reading it, it seemed like they're no longer giving flights to people.
I was going to get to that
for Mythic Championships.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. It's going to change. I was going to get to that. It's one of the changes we're going to get to. So we'll talk about that in a minute, because everything that I'm hearing from this kind of like it looks like another. I mean, like the Asian Pacific players are already talking about how bad they were getting screwed over in the last couple of years and how hard it was for them to play Magic. It looks like it's getting harder the way it's going, but they can still play Arena. We'll see. They can still get stuff like that. So when it comes to some of that, I'm also interested to see this. So 32 times 75,000, it's about 2.5 million. I didn't do the exact math, but it's right around that amount. Does that come out of the 10 million? Like, are they playing for 7.5 million, or is it 12.5 million? No, is that added? Is that whatever? Maybe they don't even know yet, depending on what kind of endorsements.
Those are like personal, like that.
Right.
They're just salary players.
Right. Does that come out of the 10 million that's guaranteed in prizes?
No, because my understanding is that the 10 million is divvied up. It's like $1 million per tournament, and there will be 5 online Mythic Championships and 5 like paper Mythic.
That's good. That's the thing I was worried about, is that like they were going to kind of like double dip out of it, because I want the players to get as much money as they can. Like, if this is a dream that they've been selling people for 20 years, this might be the first time that it's feasible for some of these people.
It's actually sweet too, because if they are getting paid like directly from Wizards, like I believe that's how Riot works. I don't actually know, but I believe Riot actually contracts professional players, and they're paid X amount per year, like a salary. And then on top of that, they just get to stream and just make money streaming as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So they're going to be kicking off Magic's new esports and competitive program with a special $1 million MTG Mythic Arena Invitational at PAX East in Boston, and that's at the end of March. It's March 28th through 31st. This is going to showcase players, the new Magic Pro League. They're going to battle against challengers. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can go and like challenge people like not part of the actual tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like, show up the day before. I'm assuming that doesn't have to actually be part of the tournament.
So Challenger is like, from my understanding, is that Challenger is going to be like a rank. So in like League of Legends, it's like, gold, or it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And then if you reach Diamond 1 and break through, you become Challenger, which I believe it's only like 100 people or something like that.
No, see, like I understand what you're saying there, and like that might be a thing. I'm saying at this event, they're saying that literally it'll showcase players in the Magic Pro League battling against challengers. Like I'm not talking about a level that you've reached. Like literally if Joe Schmo shows up from FNM, he's going to get to play against Owen. Like I think there's going to be like an outreach kind of thing. You know what I mean? Kind of like what BCW does on Friday nights. I think there's going to be that as well. I wasn't trying to like delve into this being like how the ranking system is going to happen, because I do think what you just said is like actually going to happen. There's going to be like tiers that you can get to. Like Hearthstone had like legends, ranking. There's going to be stuff like that as well.
That's my guess for how it's going to work, is that you can play, because they're making a ladder system in Arena. I know that. I assume it will have something to do with the ladder system that's coming up. And if you reach a certain level and you want to travel to PAX, you'll be, allowed to enter into the tournament, and that'll be the way that it works. But you have to be in that tier to play in the first place. So it'll be interesting. I think for me personally, and this is something that I was kind of talking to Tannen about earlier, is obviously this is very exciting. We're kind of branching into the realm of esports, which means more money, more eyes, more viewership, more people playing the game. All that's awesome. I love all of that. But to me, it's also scary, because only 32 people are getting these contracts. And that the other thing is your contract only lasts for a year, and you can just get kicked off. Like if somebody and just based on like some ranking, and like, although that's like obviously kind of cool that you can like rank your way into top 32, that's also like kind of scary too, right? Because if you're getting this contract, that means you're going to devote a bunch of time to it. And, if you just have like a bad back end of a year, you're just like back to zero. And like
don't mention you're also not mentioning the extracurriculars too, because like what if your stream sucks? Like what if, like, not that it sucks, but like what if you're not as popular as like, let's say, Amaz? Because I have a feeling Amaz is going to be one of these 32 players.
Yeah, like let's just say you're one of those 32 players and you just get 50 viewers a week, which and this is not to be mean to anybody, is not a lot. Right. It is a decent amount, but it's not a lot. To be a partner, you need to have 75 concurrent viewers. That is like an important number. So if you're not hitting that tier as like a partnered streamer, or as a streamer, you might not be able to hit the partner thresholds.
Right.
And if you can't hit the partner thresholds, when your contract is over, that's scary. That's like a scary position to potentially be in. And the hope is like that 32 maybe changes into like 64, at some point in time, maybe, it grows.
If more money comes in, yeah. Like,
it grows a little bit. Like that's
or there's a second tier that gets like 30,000 or 35,000 or something. Yeah.
Right. Like something like that would be awesome. You're like a tier two,
I'll take it.
Supported streamer. Absolutely.
Sign me up right now. I'll take it.
And a lot of people would not. Obviously, this is like a certainly a little bit better, right, than maybe what we've had in the past, especially, if you're trying to be professional. One of the things that we've discussed, is the professionals are not really getting the attention they need. They're not getting the money that they need. They're not getting what they deserve. And this is like a nice way to say, hey, here, you're getting what you deserve, but you're kind of picking 32 players at the start of the year, and you're saying you're the 32.
And we have no idea how they're picking them.
I imagine they've already been selected, right?
Yeah, they've 100% already selected.
They probably don't know yet, but maybe they do.
I think it's been announced that they are going to be. They're working on the player profile cards for the 32 players.
Okay, I just wonder if the players actually know.
Yeah, the players have gotten emails already, as far as I know.
Okay, interesting.
That's the way it seemed to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in it.
And they're able to accept.
Rats.
Well, I'm not in it, guys, so don't worry about it.
NDA boys.
NDA.
Yeah, so, right. Obviously, you have to sign an NDA, but like this to me is kind of scary. Like if you spent, like, let's just pretend you're one of those people that spent the last year grinding on the MTG Pro Tour. You're in the top 25, right? Top 25 rankings, in terms of pro points, which means not only have you been doing well, you've been doing really well. You're a platinum professional. You almost got a player card at the last Pro Tour, but you didn't. Those kind of things.
nice dagger, by the way. Nice dagger. I like that.
And then you get to this spot where you're not popular enough. You're not famous enough to be one of the top 32 players selected. Because let's be very real about what's about to happen here. Some of these players are going to be picked based on popularity.
Oh, it's a popularity contest for sure.
Right, but you have to do that because that's how you get eyes on the game. That's how you grow. But that's a major feels bad for somebody who just spent their literal entire year grinding, slaving away, for platinum, and you get platinum, and then they're like, by the way, your pro points are going to be frozen soon. Your platinum status doesn't matter. Also, there's no more pro tours. Also, who knows if you're queued for anything. Also, I don't even know if you're going to be a top 32 player. You're not going to be offered a contract for streaming. And even if you
better start playing Arena, boys.
Even if you do get a contract for streaming, what if you're somebody like let's just say you're like Drake Sasser, right? And you just work 40 hours a week, or let's just say you're Dan Jessup and you work 60 to 80 hours a week. If you get this and you can't, even stream, then what? What happens to your contract? Does your contract get passed up? Do you get fucked out of being a professional because you simply couldn't devote the time necessary? There are a lot of questions that I have, leading up to this and what's going to happen moving forward. Just simply because, think about all of this that's happening. There's so much involved with it.
Yeah,
as you pointed out, there's streamer contracts.
Yeah, contracts. And someone in my chat just made the point. They're like, "Oh, you won't need to work to get 75K." While that's true, some of these people don't want Magic to be the only thing they do. They don't want it to be their full-time job. They like to compete at the highest stage, and they want to compete at the highest stage, but they have other things going on in their lives. What if you're a lawyer or a doctor or something? There's definitely lawyers that play on the Pro Tour and stuff, and they like practicing law. They like doing their job.
I wonder, because it does bring up the question of Luis is a slam dunk pick. But I know Luis has a lot of other stuff going on.
He works full time at Direwolf. He's helped making the game eternal, which he loves. Does he have to give that up now to keep his top 32 spot? And if he doesn't have his top 32 spot, then he probably doesn't have time to grind of what's going to take to get to these Mythic Championships. That was a big problem in Hearthstone. They've had to change their OP literally every single year because it's just an unbelievable grind to stay up high enough to be qualified for these events, and then you get one shot. It's just like it was with the Pro Tour. You go through all these tournaments. If you don't spike something, you grind through for years. You finally spike one. You show up to the Pro Tour. You top 32 it, and they're like, "Oh, well, here's a cup of coffee. Here's a little bit of money. Good luck requeuing."
Right. So instead of being left with excitement, I'm now left with more questions than I was. Previously.
This is Wizards. What did you expect? It's an announcement with more announcements.
You can what you do is you go to the Wizard website, you click on the esports tab, and if you look really closely, you can see that all of the links that would normally have information are all grayed out. So
Exactly. So, all right. Before we keep going, there's more to this, and we're going off on tangents. We can do it a little more towards the end as well. So they said that it's going to be on both arena and tabletops. This stuff for next year. You're going to be able to qualify for the MTG Arena Mythic Championships by playing MTG Arena. So, like you said, there's some online, and then there's going to be some that are also paper. So that's pretty cool. This all got announced at Game Awards. So for everybody at home that plays Arena, if you go into the code section where you can redeem a code, if you type in the word as one word, Game Awards with a capital G and a capital A, you get a couple free cards. Definitely go ahead and do that. There's some really cool rares and stuff in there for you as well. So tabletop events, formerly known as Pro Tours, will now be called Mythic Championships. We talked about that. There's going to be arena competitions. And it looks like the name changes is also going to have the increased prize pool. Each tabletop Mythic Championship now will award $500,000 at the event. That's about double what Pro Tours, or approximately double what Pro Tours were paying out. So that's pretty big for the players too.
Is it actually? I thought that it was like $1 million per Mythic Championships.
The tabletop ones right now, the announcement in 2019 is that the tabletop ones will pay $500,000. There's also this announcement in this. I gotta check to see if it's on Tabletop Plus Arena, but I think it's just the tabletop ones, like the Mythic Championships that you travel to. Every person who shows up is getting prize. No longer is it like only top 64 gets paid. Everyone who shows up gets something. So no longer do you show up and have that feel bad moment. And we're gonna get to why that's really important here. And I might as well just say it actually. After the first two Pro Tour / Mythic Championships next year, the first two are going to be Cleveland and London. Travel awards are no longer a thing. You do not get flights paid for. You do not get traveled there. You have to pay for your flight. You have to pay for your hotel. So it's pretty important that everyone that plays in one of these gets some kind of prize to kind of recoup the losses they're going to have, because otherwise it'd get pretty hard pretty fast for some of these players and stuff. So, and it's saying that players in the... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I wonder what the min prize is gonna be.
Probably something small.
It says like between 2 and 500.
I would say probably like 5 to a K, like maybe 5 to 1,000, because it is. Don't forget, it's 500,000 now, and also they're gonna be smaller. This is not going to be the size of a Pro Tour.
How many people do we think there's going to be?
I think
guaranteed 32. I think
it might be 64.
Like 128.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than 100 for some of these things. I'm not sure.
That's super top heavy then, right?
Well, yeah, maybe. Okay, so it's got to be more, right, at that point, if the prize pool.
I think these first two aren't going to be as controlled, but I believe that the ones after, once they actually figure it out, they'll probably try to really monitor. Like 32, and then like some increment of 32 or whatever.
Yeah, they'll have whatever the number is to like fully break it down to where everybody gets, like, you know what I mean, once they figure out the prize payouts and stuff. So now they're saying that the MPL will be ranked based on points earned via high finishes in the Mythic level events, and they're going to say challenger players who do well in those events can also be ranked based on their finishes. So that keeps the MLP. Sorry, I'm still MPL. I keep saying MLP. MPL players on their toes, leaving room for newcomers to take their places at the top. So that's like Rudy said. Yeah, you get the $75,000 contract, but like you could lose your job at any moment. Like I think you get it for a year. I think it's the way it works. You get it for a year, but at the end of the year, they just be like, "Sorry, bro. Peace, get out."
Yeah,
you know,
it's so fucking vague. Hopefully, at some point in time in the future, we'll get a lot of clarifying points. But there's going to have to be a lot. There's going to have to be a lot of clarifying points, because I really don't feel comfortable with this announcement so far. It's not inspiring any confidence.
So one thing that I think is going to come up too. Do you remember the first couple of seasons in the SCG tour where it had like insane rewards for the players? There's going to be some stuff like that. Like, okay, Rudy, hypothetically, you and I are in the top 32, right? You're having a great season. You won a Mythic Championship, right? You like top 8 another one. You are just an immortal lock to be back for top 32 of the next season, right? I'm on your team. We're good friends. We test it all the time. I've had a rough year, right? You and I are in a kind of a high leverage situation late into one of them. Like, wouldn't you just concede to me? Like, making sure your buddy and good friend stays in the top 32? Like, and you know that you're going to get taken care of later when it comes to the difference in money, right? Like your teammate, you know, that's like an unspoken thing maybe or whatever. But like, there's going to be moments where this comes up and you have to start weighing the fact that like, if you beat this person in the situation, you may have just taken them out of their livelihood. You may have just not cost them, but you may have just affected their $75,000 contract for the next year. What if they have kids? You know, like what if they have a family? Like that's messed up.
That's like kind of similar to like the whole like gold plat. Like, are you going to take somebody off a gold and plat? And like it's very hard to say, no, because then you get in like this weird spot where you're just like, well, you concede to me, and it's just like, no, I'm not going to concede to you. Like I don't owe you anything,
right?
Kind of deal. And it's like hard, right? Because if we play and we're good friends, and I would do that for you, and I've done it for other people in the past. Yeah, of course. Like I conceded to Max McVetti at like X3 at a GP because it gave him a chance to spike for gold or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like I would do that for a lot of my friends, especially in situations where I'm dead for something. But at the same time, that's not everybody's motif. That's not what everyone's going to do. I personally want to see my friends succeed, but not everybody is friends with everybody else. Sometimes people just tangentially know other people, and then you get in this weird spot where I've seen this before too, where people are like, I know, your friend, will you concede to me? And they're like, no. And then it's like, hey, I played your friend. I really needed this concession. They said, no, I hate your friend.
Yeah.
Now.
Your friend is scum. Like, yeah.
Right. And obviously they're not, but like at the same time, it's, it's very difficult for a lot of people to kind of, be in the situation. And I feel like with contracts involved, I think things get a lot more tense.
Right.
So
you have more to lose. Like you have more to lose than just the match and just that tournament. Yeah.
Yep. I want to see the clarification, on everything. But these are like a lot of the questions that I personally have, and I really want to see more of what's going to go on going forward.
Exactly. And we kind of got to this a little bit. So what's going to happen with the Pro Tours for next year or the Mythic Championships? There was 6 announced with locations. They're going to go back to the flagship 4. So that means that there's going to be Cleveland in February, London in April, Barcelona in July, and Richmond in November. That means the one that was going to be in Dallas-Fort Worth, that was going to be a Magic Fest. I was planning on going to it, whether I played in it or not, just to like see what it was like and hang out and have a cool weekend. Not going to it now because it doesn't exist. And then there's one in Sydney that a lot of people were actually pretty excited about, because I know some people weren't excited about having to fly to Sydney because it's a ridiculous flight, but like they don't get a lot of Magic and they have a good Magic scene down there, and a lot of people like that as like kind of a vacation and a cool spot to go to. Like, it's kind of a an actual like vacation-y destination, because we don't get as many of those as we used to. Cause like, let's be real, Cleveland, nobody wants to go to Cleveland in February. This is not something people want to do. The people in Cleveland don't want to be there in February.
Yeah, it's it's like kind of hard, because there has to be, especially when you're going to say things like, I am going to take all this money out of travel to put it into the prize pool, and instead I'm going to now pay all the way down to the bottom. I think that might be kind of what it is, depending on like where you are. Because I haven't done any of the math. I'm not going to pretend that I know any of the math. But it almost seems to me like if you ripped out all of the travel vouchers, that you might just have a lot more money for prizes. And it feels like if you do that, and then you say, well, instead of giving you a travel voucher just for showing up, I'm going to give you $500. Just for coming and getting destroyed. I'm going to give you $500. $500 is, for a lot of people, especially, if it's US centric, that's enough for a flight and travel. So like in many ways, it kind of almost feels like it's getting transferred over. Now, obviously this is a lot different for, overseas Pro Tours, wildly different situation, but it almost seems to me like this is kind of like the direction that it's heading.
No, absolutely. Now, one of the directions that they were heading towards, and they're now pulling back on, I'm actually a fan of. So they're saying the Barcelona and Richmond Mythic Championships, that's number 3 and number 4, I believe. Yeah, that's number 3 and number 4. They will not have narrowly regionalized invitations as previously announced. So I hated that announcement that they kind of made, but I understood why. It was going to save them money and logistic problems, where it was like, play the game, see your immediate geographic region instead of seeing the world, where like if you qualified for a Pro Tour, you're going to qualify for the next one that was within your immediate region. That's no longer going to be a thing. Now, if you qualify, you're going to qualify for whatever's coming up. I'm sure there's going to be like a cutoff date or whatever, kind of like the PTQ and PT system was in the past. And I think that's great. You let these people travel to other parts of the world that they don't normally get to. It will create some feel-bad moments, people that maybe don't have the extra money sitting around to make it there, and they're going to have to figure something out. They're going to do like some kind of advance or something or whatever. So We'll figure it out. But I do think that's a good step away, because like you do actually kind of want to like sell that dream, right? Like you make it and you get to fly all over the world and do all these cool things. You get to fly to Cleveland in February and freeze your balls off to play in, arena and stuff. So we'll see.
Man, fly to Richmond. Look at all these great places. We just had Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, to be fair, Cleveland to Richmond, we're from the US, so it's like not super great for us. I've been to London for a Pro Tour. It was amazing. The food's good. The people are fun there. The city is gorgeous. I've been to Spain and a bunch of these places. Barcelona is amazing. Like this stuff's awesome. So some of these places are really awesome. So I look forward to like trying to compete in these. I'm gonna at least give it a shot. I'm gonna play an arena. I don't know if I have time to grind for what it looks like it's gonna be, but we'll see. So some of the other parts of the announcements, we talked about this, like last place is getting paid now and stuff like that too. So from what we've talked about so far, do you guys think this is a step forward? Because I think this is a drastic step forward. Yeah, there's going to be naysayers, there's going to be people that hate it. It really sucks for the 33rd ranked player or whatever it is through that system. It really sucks for like the middling pros that were like silver, trying to get the plat. Like I feel for them. I really do. It sucks.
Oh, it's a massive jump. It's a massive jump forward because like breaching into esports is something that we've certainly needed to do for a while, in order to start getting the viewership and start getting the money, that we want to be able to play this game. So it's awesome, but I'm very scared. I keep saying this. I know I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat myself. I'm very scared. The way that they've made their announcements does not seem to me like a lot of these things have been thought through. All the way. It seems like they're taking bits and pieces from a lot of other different esports without understanding the hows and whys. All of those things are in there. But, one of the things that I know is I know Hearthstone kind of dropped off hard recently. I've heard a lot of teams get disbanded. Heard a lot of teams lose funding. That is like a scary proposition to be in, when you're coming into a card game esport. Something like Overwatch is on a huge rise. League of Legends and Dota are always going to be, absolutely massive. But, we're getting into the spot where I am, a bit concerned that even though we're taking a massive jump forward, it is, maybe biting off more than they can chew. And whoever that they're getting, in these meetings to discuss, they're either not listening to, these people who are, really involved in esports and the hows and the whys, or they're getting someone who maybe just quite doesn't understand everything. And they're like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, well, this is it. And they're like, okay, we'll just take half of what you said and work, make up our own stuff. And since we're not in those meetings, we have no way to know. All we have are these announcements that look like garbage.
As long as they hire from without the company, or at least are willing to hire from without the company, I'm okay with it. That's a problem they've had in the past, is they wouldn't hire from outside the company, and it led into some problems. They put people in situations they think they can handle the situation, and like maybe they were qualified for it, but they didn't have the experience that was needed possibly in the situation. I don't want to like naysay too much here or hate on people too much, but that's a big deal.
I just picture Watsy like, we need an esports director, and like Jim in the mailroom. Let's go get him.
Jim in the mailroom.
Esports director.
He watches esports.
Esports.
Yeah, he's got like
Twitch all the time.
He's got like his Overwatch hat on or whatever. It's like,
hey, has anyone here ever seen an esport before?
And they don't even spell it right. They have like the capital letters wrong and like esports and stuff. So, it's gonna be interesting. Because that's a big deal. How do you spell esports and stuff? So, Rudy, are you okay?
Yeah, just the idea of just a Wizards meeting where they just have a whiteboard out and just esports is written like 6 different ways, and this has just been the topic of discussion
for the whole day.
For the last 2 hours. They're just like, how the fuck do we write this? Is there a dash? Is there a little e, a big E? Is the S? We really need to have this. We have to have this discussion. Let's take a lunch break. We've been here for 2 hours. That's a long time. Let's go to break. We'll come back. We'll tackle this topic again.
I need a bear claw. So, yeah. But okay, so in this announcement, there's a little bit more that can kind of impact, say, like you and me, Bradley, or you and me, Rudy, and some of the other people listening to the show that aren't necessarily like top Pro Tour performers. This is stuff that might be important as well if you're going to want to play in like your local Grand Prix or Magic Fest. So They're saying in addition to the Mythic Invitational and Mythic Championships. By the way, the Mythic Invitational I think is going to be the end of the year like World Championship kind of thing that they're going to have, because we're going to get to that again in a second. All right, so don't spoil it yet. We're going to get to that. They said that they're going to have a significant prize pool set aside to partner with independent organizers who want to host MTG Arena esports and tabletop competitive gaming events. So that means it's not just Channel Fireball. They do get into that. They said the tabletop Grand Prix circuit held at Magic Fest run by Channel Fireball events alone offers $2.5 million. So just the Channel Fireball events own $2.5 million. But now if other companies start seeing this and want to get a piece of the pie, they can come in and start running their own events. They're like, hey, we want to run one. Cool. Wizards is like, this is what it costs. And they're like, cool, we got that. Here you go. And then they just get their name slathered all over it, right? You know, you're like, here at Magic Fest, blah, 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 sponsored by Amazon. You know, sponsored by Amazon Prime, whatever. Get your Prime sponsorship right now. Get your Prime account so you can start subscribing to your favorite player in the top 32. Like, they're going to link all this stuff like crazy. Other cool thing, expect this on Twitch. You're going to start getting drops. If you like games on Twitch and you get free loot crates for Overwatch, you get free, emotes for other things, you're going to start getting that with your Magic account. So make sure your Magic account and your Twitch account and your Arena account are all linked. That's going to be a thing in the future. That's going to be coming down the pipeline for sure. If they haven't thought about that, guys, my email is tanandgrace@gmail.com. I've done this job before. I can do it again. Let's go. I'll help make Magic better.
You can also email me. Just a note, I literally wrote about all of these things previously. The drops thing is something that I've written about for months on end. So if you need someone who has a big brain, galaxy brain even, to think
Brad's
about
right over
drops,
there. Yeah, Brad's right over there.
Yeah, you can email him at thanandgrace@gmail.com. Not to be confused with Tannen's email. That's actually Brad's email.
Yeah, so, and they're going to say, here we go. They actually kind of like jumped the gun on one of the announcements. The 2019 season is going to culminate in a World Championship at the end of the year. It's going to be featuring the most accomplished Magic players of the year across MTG Arena and Tabletop. More news on that to come. So announcement of an announcement, as usual, from WotC. You get a lot of those in this. So they said that their newly reimagined esports structure is going to leave some of the legacy programs behind. And that doesn't mean the legacy format, the legacy programs, because they already killed that format. Let's not be real.
Like the Hall of Fame, I assume, is what
they didn't mention this one. They did not mention that one specifically, but here's what they have mentioned so far. Nationals, done after this year. World Magic Cup, done after this year. Team Series after this year coming up, done. So, there's going to be no World Cup in 2019, no Nationals program in 2019. The Team Series goes from 2018 through 2019 because that's been promised already. That's going to be the last one. The Pro Club, that doesn't exist anymore because now you have MPL. You have the Magic Pro League. So, and that's going to be pretty important, as we've seen. That's literally all that's going to matter for some of these players now. So you're going to have some people have some real feel-bad moments when they want. So they're saying that all benefits will be granted through the end of 2019. The last event that gives out Pro Points is going to be Grand Prix Seattle, and then Pro Points will be frozen after that in case they have to revert back to this.
Seattle?
It literally says Grand Prix Seattle because I don't think they've actually changed the name of them before or something. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Tabletop Mythic Championships will also include qualification slots for players who did well in previous Tabletop Mythic Championships. So here's the thing. That's at least something for the players. You know that if you go to one of these and you're not one of the top 32 and you do well at it, you at least start getting a shot down the line. Like, they're not just going to be like, oh, here's your isolated incident. Good luck. You're going to be qualified for more. And if you do well at that one, there's a chance you start slipping in the top 32. Get your stream up. Get it ready. Get people watching yourself. Don't view bot. They're going to know about it. That kind of stuff. So, and then, God,
can you imagine view botting? That's just gross. Like, you can't be that desperate.
Well, I mean, they'll find out. Twitch is good at this. But, and then they're saying for the Magic Pro, here we go, Brad. I actually missed this the first time I read it. For the Magic Pro Tour Hall of Fame, 2019 will be the last year of qualification and voting as you know it. When we go to voting season, we will have a new Magic Hall of Fame. They're going to have a new Magic Hall of Fame structure to unveil. And here's what I've been saying the whole time, and I hope they do this. Why is it called the Magic Pro Tour Hall of Fame and not just the Magic Hall of Fame? So we can get BBD in there. I'm not sorry, not BBD. Brian David Marshall. So we can get. Hey, BBD might make it eventually. But I meant Brian David Marshall, like people like that. Yeah, he never won a Pro Tour, but he's meant so much to it over the 20 years that it's been around that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. In that too. Yeah, hopefully that would be nice. Also, it means that If that's the case, then that means I think you might be right. Accomplishments might matter a lot, so we might
Pakula?
actually. One of the things that I do like is that if it is going to be like now the Magic Hall of Fame, is that means it might be a real Hall of Fame where now like it actually kind of means something outside of just qualifying for a Pro Tour, and I think that's like actually awesome.
Yeah.
Just have like a kind of like. I don't want to presume to know, but I would assume like kind of like how the Baseball Hall of Fame works, how people like retire and then you vote them in or whatever.
Yeah, they retire, they have to wait 5 years, and then they get voted in. But you also have coaches in there. You have like announcers have made it in, like people who just like meant a lot to baseball have made it in, even though they never hit a ball with a bat. You know what I mean? And that matters. Like, let's get Cedric Phillips in there. You know what I mean? Like, it is arguable that Cedric Phillips is the most important person in Magic, or one of the most influential people in Magic over the last few years.
I mean, not according to Wizards.
Well, yeah, of course. He's like shadow banned or whatever, but...
Yeah, whatever. Say whatever, Cedric said like a lot of like dumb shit on like Twitter too, but like none of that matters because at his heart, he just wants Magic to be the best that it can be.
He cares.
You can see like he cares so much about what's going on, and I think the fact that he cares enough to put in the work, matters a lot. I don't know if like what he's done would ever qualify or currently might qualify him for like the Magic Hall of Fame, but like if he got voted in, I would be like, that makes a lot of sense. He cares a lot about, he's done a lot of work for the SCG Tour. The only problem is obviously the SCG Tour is, it shouldn't feel like this, but the SCG Tour really feels like it's a direct competitor to the Pro Tour. And I'm sure that's not how Wizards wants to feel, but that's how it currently feels to me a lot, is that they just feel like they're direct competition a lot. You have a Pro Tour invite with your Invitational, you don't have one.
Now you got it back. Yeah,
now you got it back because it doesn't matter, and we don't
because we don't have Pro Tours, they're not a thing anymore. But
don't make your Players Championship too much because we don't want it to be like Worlds. There's like a lot of like weird stuff going on, but it definitely feels like a direct competitor instead of something that should be played alongside.
Okay, I got a question for you too.
No.
With these announcements and the things that are coming out about Magic Fests and Mythic Championships and the Pro Tour and how hard it's going to be a top 32 player and all this stuff, how packed is the SCG Tour going to be with better players?
I feel like a couple people who maybe missed on gold might be coming to the. I think the Pro Tour next year. I think not the Pro Tour, the SCG Tour next year is going to be a lot harder. And I think starting in 2020, the SCG Tour might actually just look like an old Pro Tour.
Yep,
like,
I think you're going to be
think
bigger.
A lot of people like I talked to Andrew Allen Bogan this weekend. Most recent Pro Tour champion.
No, last Pro Tour champion.
Last Pro Tour champion. He's going to play. The Pro Tour, he is platinum, he's going to write out all his benefits. He's going to see where things end up after that. And if things don't look good, we're going to see him on the tour.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, right? Because he actually loses out on some benefits too, doesn't he? Don't you get like a year? Don't you qualify for like 6 Pro Tours or something like that?
Well, yeah. So he's going to qualify for every. So what happens is you qualify, you get platinum, automatically. Right. So you're qualified for every Pro Tour. You get all the benefits that come with platinum, and you qualify for Worlds.
So there's no Worlds. There's he won't even get the benefits of like travel. There's Worlds that's going on this year. There's no Worlds next year. So he doesn't get to play in the next Worlds or whatever, unless it's this year's.
He will. His PT invite gets
there's one Worlds
left
in 2019.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's happening next weekend that nobody knows about because Wizards is very good at advertising is the world team thing the Magic Cup where you're part of Team USA or Team Brazil.
Oh yeah, that's going on this week.
France. Yeah. That's going on this week. No one knows about it.
No one knows about it yet.
I know a couple people who are going to play in it, like Seth Banfield, and I know Sam Rolfe. And after that, I don't know anything.
I assume Paulo, just because he's always in the Brazilian team, but like we don't know.
Maybe, but who knows?
Yeah, who would know? Like
we have no idea.
If only there's a website that told us these things. But
right. So I mean, obviously, like that's happening this weekend, and it seems to me like there's one Worlds left. And then after that, I think it's done. So like Ellen Bogan's going to play like that Worlds as far as I can understand it. And then after that, it's.
Yeah, but I think he definitely misses out on something. Like there's I think you get like 6 Pro Tours. I don't know because I'm not
He's technically missing out on an entire year of benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
The PT.
Yeah. Also, like with Worlds, there's pro points attached to every match win. So winning in Worlds doesn't have extra, benefits now. So now it's just, I just, win and I win a bunch of money, depending on how much I win, as opposed to, wow, this match at 7-7 or 7-8 or whatever, or 8-7 has the potential to like get me to gold without having to play without having to like do well on a pro tour, which is just like an absurd thing to think about.
Yeah, and so I mean, just hearing all this, I know it's a lot of information, and I know that we've talked about like some of the negative parts and stuff, but I think it's all a positive when it goes over, when you think about all of it in the way that Magic's going. Because here's the most important thing that I can stress in all this. This is a good move to secure the future of Magic, to ensure that it's here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And that's the most important thing. That's what you should care about the most when liking Magic. Who cares about the price of your Mythic that you got in your last pack and that it's plummeting, or the price of tickets on Magic Online? I know that sucks right now. The sky is falling on there right now. That program is hurting. It sucks. This is the best thing possible to secure the future of the game, because the game is a dinosaur compared to what's going on everything else going on right now with all these digital games going on. Like the other games, they look at ours and they laugh at it until Arena came out. And this is the best thing for that. I am interested to hear about like theories and stuff about a few other things. Like I do have a couple questions that like are somewhat negative. So does Channel Fireball offer refunds for all the people who bought that Gold Rush $60 GP thing, since they don't matter anymore?
I saw people selling them for like $20 and $30.
Yeah, they literally don't matter anymore. So if anyone didn't know, it was like a Black Friday Cyber Monday thing. You could have pre-bought your entry fee into a GP for the year. You could have bought like X amount of them and then redeem them at a Grand Prix, and it was only $60 instead of like the 85 or whatever it would be like on average at the other events. But do you just get that back now? Because I don't think they're going to give you that money back. And
nope, you can still enter in Magic Fest.
Yep, and you get to play, and your points don't mean it. Sorry about your Chuck E. Cheese points, as one of my friends would say. And
wow,
yeah, it just doesn't. It just
we don't shout out Marcus Long on this podcast.
Yeah. It was still really funny though. But anyway, Brad,
yes,
just the overall scope of everything, just hearing it from you, like negative, positive.
So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day. So I think Magic could exist as it is just fine, right? But like you're never gonna get any more,
right?
And theoretically, there's more money than Magic, and this is a lot, and this is a way for them to potentially get more eyes on the game, and like I think Jerry said where like there's always the theory that like the bigger Magic gets, the more likely it is that like pros would get their piece, and like sales would go up, Magic would get more popular, but it just never happened. Like, if anything, they tried to keep taking more away. And I think this is a step in that direction where it's just like, it's more money. And like, assuming Wizards does like something like fine with it or like remotely correct, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited, especially if Pro Tours and larger events are just played on Arena. Like, thought about it and just like, you just don't have to deal with like cheaters or like buying cards.
Or your cards getting stolen.
Yeah, or cards getting stolen. Like, you don't have to deal with all the secondary market bullshit.
Can we tangent for 1 second about the cards getting stolen? If anybody didn't know about Cat Light's deck that got stolen this weekend from the SCG event, someone stole her mostly foil Bant Spirits deck. It's been people have been talking about it a lot on Twitter. We'll talk about this for like 2 seconds. There was a thing on Twitter going on. I lost the damn Twitter account where there was a guy on Twitter who was like, I've got a spreadsheet set up. If anybody wants to donate cards to help replace the cards that Cat Light lost, I myself am donating a foil Horizon Canopy to replace for the one that she lost. I think they've already gotten...
Big flex, but okay.
I think they've already gotten I'm just going to ignore that. They've already gotten quite a bit of cards for the deck as well. So if anybody wants to help out... here we go. Someone just sent me the spreadsheet. Maybe the guy's name's on it. Hold on 1 second. No, it just says Hellkites. I forgot the actual name of the account. I need to find it before the end of the show. But yeah, if anyone wants to... you can just Google it or look up on Twitter. You can probably find it. But so it just sounds like overall you kind of agree with me, Bradley. Like you think it's just a net positive. Like, yeah, obviously we can nitpick at little things. People are going to hate change. They're going to hate these little parts, but it ensures the growth of Magic, right?
Yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction. Like, yeah, it sucks for some people, but like, I just picture like, someone who's like maybe one of the like less popular platinums or something. Like, they're like, oh, top 32. Like, people should know. I guess I should email Wizards to see if I'm in that top 32. Just like, hey, am I in this top 32 thing? What's going on with that? And then it's just like, download Magic the Gathering Arena.
They just send them the links to Arena. Here's your platinum payout. It's just like 15 free mythics, 30 free rares. It's just like they give them a couple vaults. Like,
yeah.
So, God.
It's super cool for me. I'm excited. I think we'll see Magic grow more on Twitch, which is awesome. I, for one, am excited to. And now that the MTGO market has crashed and is on fire, I can just like play Arena and like not have to worry about like grinding on Magic Online. So overall, sweet. I don't know what'll happen with the SCG tour. I honestly, I don't think it's a bold statement to say that like every year we're just gonna see like one less paper event, or like we're only doing this one paper event this year, and they're like no more paper events.
I think that. So I think one of the draw. Oh, I'm sorry, Tana. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I think it's still important for them to get the sales they get from cracking packs and selling products.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it is. So here's the big deal. What is the big draw from Magic to Hearthstone? If you wanted to like, if you're like, why do you like playing Magic over Hearthstone? Why is that, Brad? Just tell me.
The game is better.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean the game's just like it's slightly more complex, and there's just more going on. I think is the biggest thing.
I actually think the draw is you get to play with your friends in real life. I actually think that's also one of like the big deals. You can't do that if everything is digital. So I highly doubt they're going to one day say maybe one day they'll be like it's all going to be digital. But that's not going to be something that's going to happen in 5 years. That's not going to be something that happens in 10 years. Maybe like later than that. But paper cards is one of the massive things that are like going. Paper cards are just one of the best things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
hear me out though. Like I've heard like Peace Elite talked about this because when they're developing Eternal, yeah, like if they moved Magic to strictly online, that would create a lot of design space and stuff that like doesn't have to be tracked. Like you can affect cards in your deck and things like that, and that could be pretty interesting. I also don't know how much longer Magic's gonna last too. Like who's to say like if Magic's got 20 years left?
I hope it does. Yeah, I want my kids to play.
I imagine it does, but it would be interesting to see like can you imagine like, oh, what are these? Those are Magic cards. Well, that's weird. Those are just pieces of cardboard. I only know the online one.
Right. So, they don't actually make those anymore. Like, yeah.
Right. But I think like all the things you can do between paper and digital, I think it's one of the big draws to other card games is because you can play the game online and then you can, your friends like, oh, I play Magic too. And you're like, oh, like give me your arena name. They're like, no, I play paper. And they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could play with you one day. And they like start collecting some paper cards. Now they start playing with their friends. Maybe they're like, hey, there's a tabletop mythic championship. And you're like, I need to play.
Well, some of that stuff's even happening now. At like the last BCW challenge that I played in, a guy came up, he was like sat down, I was like, hey, what format do you want to play? And he's like, I want to play standard. And his deck was like completely foiled out. We're playing, and I was like, oh, like you've been playing for a long time. Your deck's really cool. It's really awesome. He's like, no, I've only been playing a few weeks. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I got Arena when it first came out. I had one of the beta accounts. I've loved it. And then a few weeks ago, like a month or two ago, I decided I'm going to play Paper Magic. And then he just like bought his deck in foil. And it was like, he's like, I love this deck. I play it every day on Arena. And like paper just looked cool. So I wanted to try it out. So we're starting to see some of that backwards. But like, I do think eventually you do move away from paper. But they do make money from it. So like, I assume that they're going to keep that until they find a different revenue stream that's either equal or better.
Yeah. I mean, I assume Arena is just printing money. Like, they don't have to have...
I don't think Arena is going to print... I mean, having both means you print double, like, not double, but, like, you get the idea is that you get to have two different sources of, maximum income. And also, if you're playing paper, it's easy to get them into Arena. And if they're playing Arena, then it's just like Tannen said, they're going to go to paper. Like
We're
that
gonna
is
get
something
codes
that
and
is going
packs.
to happen.
We're gonna get
Yes,
codes and
yes,
packs this year, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
like or
I would
boxes
be,
or whatever.
I would be fucking floored that if in the next 6 months we don't open a booster pack and have a code for a pack on Arena. I'd be fucking.
I don't know if it'll be a direct 1-to-1, but it'll be something.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure
would
they'll figure it out.
One tick up in your vault.
Yeah, one tick up on the vault. There we go. Exactly. Something along those lines. It's going to be something because it just doesn't make sense not to, especially when you're pushing Arena this hard and Arena is this great. Like,
No, it's definitely going to happen.
That would
I
be
just think
cool.
like
I was gonna say it'd be cool if like you open a pack and it's just a real life like mythic wild card, and you can like punch that in. And, like, get that
something
online.
like that would be absolutely great. But that's the point. That's something that you have access to when you're like, I have a paper game and I have a digital game. If you only have a digital game, that's not something you can do. I got to tell you, I was in what was I in? It's in Vegas maybe, and I was just at like a convenience store and I was walking around and there was some pack of like some snacks or something or like some drinks that was like, hey, buy this, you get an Overwatch loot box.
yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of cool. I'm never going to buy this pack of, food or drink because, fuck that.
But you noticed it.
But I noticed it, and I would buy a pack of Magic cards because that's something that I do a lot. It's also something that I get prize wall tickets from a Mythic Championship, or I get prize wall tickets from an SCG tour.
I mean-
and I go, I don't really have enough for anything else, but I do have enough for a few packs.
Can you just imagine that, like, I can just see Rudy 8 months from now. It's 11:30 at night. He's hungry, right? He wants some nachos, and he wants a Chalupa Supreme. He drives up to Taco Bell, gets the $5
know
fill-up
at
box.
all.
Hold on. Whatever. He gets the $5 fill-up box. Hold on. Let me say my damn thing. Gets the $5 fill-up box with his Baja Blast or whatever, right? And inside is a code. Hey, and inside is a code for a free pack on Arena. Right? How hard is that to do? It's not hard. Right? Or it gets you
Well,
like the free, or it's like a free pack or your free startup kit. If you haven't used a startup kit yet, you get that thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be really
what's a
hard
startup
because I don't drink Baja Blast and I don't
Wow.
get that $5.
Do you
I don't
even
get that $5.
Can you go to Taco Bell?
Okay, you
And
know what?
say
Let's
you
have
go
this
to Taco Bell?
conversation, Brad.
If you
Let's
don't
have this
drink Baja
conversation,
Blast?
Brad. Quesarito is the best thing on the menu. Change my mind. Go ahead, change my mind.
What do you mean? Quesarito.
Change your mind. Were you trying to return two
Change
creatures
my
from the
mind.
graveyard?
I was gonna say change my fucking mind, but I decided I didn't want to curse this time, Cannon.
Now, and that's our one F-bomb for the stream. We're PG-13.
One.
He said
I've
like
had,
6.
5.
We ignore those. Well,
Okay,
Brent will,
the quesarito
we'll do
is
those.
the best thing on the Taco Bell menu. It just is.
Yeah, but you know what I like?
No,
a nice,
I don't
refreshing
care what you like.
Vodka
You're wrong.
Blast.
All right, I gotta also tell you something. Mountain Dew is trash. It's a bad soda.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
terrible.
a listener of our cast and you like Mountain Dew, like that's fine.
Mountain Dew
that
sucks.
That sucks for you.
Well, you know
Baja
what doesn't
Blast
suck?
is
A
like
delicious
slightly above.
Vodka Blast.
It's not even that good. It's just slightly better. What do you mean?
It's so good. It's delicious. It's the nectar of the gods.
No, it isn't. Are you
Don't at
stupid?
me.
Are you? You're stupid. That's all I can think of. Like
That's not even true. I mean,
have you
yeah,
ever had water?
stupid.
Water is
Have
water
you
is
had
the
delicious
water is
vodka blast
literally water is literally the nectar of the gods.
I will fight you. I hope you drown in a pool of Vodka Blast. I know I won't. I'll drink it all.
You're gonna fucking stub your toe later, and you're gonna have to wonder if it was an accident or the machinations of my evil plan to get you,
Joke's
or
on you, Rudy. I'm just wearing shoes for the rest of my life.
or some other third thing, whatever. The point is that Quesarito's great. Baja Blast is medium at best, which is a lot more than the other Mountain Dews, but it doesn't matter because the Quesarito is far and away the best thing on the menu. And if you disagree, you're wrong. That's
Wait,
just
what's
the end
your
of the conversation.
usual? Not to
Hold
derail
on.
this whole.
Hold on, real quick,
podcast
real quick,
too much of the other.
real quick. I just want to interject. I have never had a quesarito or a Baja Blast.
I'm going to talk about.
All right, you're fucking off the show.
Well,
Get
I don't
outta
drink
here.
soda, so like I don't.
What's your
That's
usual order,
fair.
then, Tannen?
I get the nachos if I have like I just like always have a craving for nachos.
Grande?
Okay,
Yeah.
so the chicken they have chicken roll-ups right now. The chicken roll-ups are actually pretty good. But the quesarito is the best thing on the menu. In fact, you should go and get a quesarito, and then in fact, you called me the other day while you were at Taco Bell, and I told you
I did.
to get the quesarito.
That did not happen. I don't think.
I know you need to.
It's all about
Oh
the
my
Chalupa
God.
cravings deal with the Baja Blast.
No, you're
Oh,
wrong.
see, what everybody at home thinks is like, oh man, they're just like randomly going off this Taco Bell tangent. What's going on? They must be weird. I'm gonna love in 2 weeks from now when I'm like, oh, welcome to the Grinders podcast, now sponsored by Taco Bell.
That would be so delicious.
Oh God, I wish so much.
And then it's gonna be 50 years in the
someone reach
future. No, it's gonna be 50 years in the future once all the elite gaming war has happened, and the only things that have survived in the world is whatever the best digital game at the time is. Hopefully, it's Magic, and then every restaurant in the world is Taco Bell. Straight Demolition Man style.
Yeah, Taco Bell's great. Tannen, go do yourself a favor, get a quesarito. If you're somebody who has not been to Taco Bell in a while and you're like, Taco Bell is laxatives, Taco Bell's bad for you, I have a couple things for you.
That was a really good impression.
Yeah, it is. Number one,
listener.
do a Google search. Do a Google search. Do yourself a favor. Go to google.com and type in Taco Bell healthy, and you will get many articles on the fact that Taco Bell is actually one of the healthiest fast food chains now. The quality of food has gone up and up and up and up, and the quesarito is one of the best things that you can get. Go get yourself a quesarito, preferably the chicken one. That's my personal favorite, and have yourself one of the best fast food meals you've had in a while. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that fast food is good for you, and that fast food is one of the best things you can get, but if you're going to get fast food, get Taco Bell. Not sponsored. Hashtag.
Yet.
Sponsored, not sponsored.
Sponsored, not sponsors. Let's get that Taco Bell sponsorship, please. God, if I could do a podcast episode and at the end of it go, proudly sponsored by Taco Bell, I would fucking lose my shit just every time.
Well,
All right.
You know.
So I know we've covered a lot of stuff tonight, and we're way over what we normally go in time. I think this is a good time to like kind of ramp down the show. There's so much more we could talk about and go into, but I don't think we can keep going. I got some stuff to do.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Nick, okay, so here's the thing. Big deal. There aren't tournaments for the next few weeks. There's not really anything going on until January 6th. So because of that, next week's episode, let's review Standard and Modern, where they are right now, where they stand. So we'll review the Envy results because they're not going to change and nothing's going to change. So we'll talk about that. And then the week after that is going to be like the end of December, I think. Or close enough to it that one of the 2 weeks leading up to December that we will have like a resolutions episode. Brad, Tannen, and I will have a discussion on what we want to change for the next year, and then the week after that we'll get into Unified Modern or non-Unified Modern actually.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's going to be some announcement at the World Magic Cup over the next week. Like, we'll probably get a little more info. We'll probably even get the list of 32 players, and I'm sure we'll have some debates about that as well. So as soon as that comes out, we'll have that on the show as soon as possible. It's WotC, so we don't know when anything, like, literally almost every paragraph is more to come later, like maybe if you can find it, and we kind of get at it. I think Brad's dog wants us to end the show, it looks like.
No, she just walked in. Don't worry about it. You didn't hear a thing.
I gotta have Benny on the show sometime soon.
Also, we'll do a special episode. I was gonna say of it's just gonna be a hour and 15-minute caw, just one caw straight through.
That episode has mysteriously been deleted.
You're not the editor.
We should get you to do like. We should get you to do like the Vin Diesel Groot thing. Just do like 100 million different caws, and then someone could like take them and put them into Christmas music tunes, and that would be very disturbing.
Yo, I will say on the subject of caws, Ryan, my pal Ryan Overturf, when they were doing like the pre-game show, I think it was Saturday, or no, I think it was Friday, obviously because of the day, and they were doing the pre-game show. And Ryan was talking about casting Arclight Phoenix, and he's just like, "Yeah, when you put him in play on Magic Arena, it's like caw." And I was like, "Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is. It is." All right, Bradley.
Fantastic.
If viewers at home wanted to find you, wanted to stalk you, wanted to see what you do late at night, where could they find you?
On my house.
God damn it.
And I still love it anyway.
You can find me on twitch.tv/BradBrigMostEnraged. I'm going to go back to streaming, and you'll see I'll probably be streaming under the title of Watched Up Never Was Plays Magic Arena. That's going to be my new tagline. And I'll I'll be doing that probably from like 2 p.m. Eastern till 6 p.m. Eastern, and then I'll still keep my overnight streams of 12 a.m. Eastern till like 4 a.m. give or take. And then you can also find me on Twitter at Brad Barigmos. If you have any inquiries about coaching services, because I taught Andrew everything he knows, but don't ask him. And I also taught Austin Collins everything he knows. And
Brad is the coach for Team Nova, basically.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, concerns, you can email me at thetannongrace@gmail.com. And personally, I'm just really excited. I can't wait for my new chair coming in the mail from my pal Austin. And that's definitely where you can find me, sitting in Austin's customized gaming chair. Actually, I need to message him and make sure that when he
has the right address.
Cedric, when he tells Cedric, 1, my address, and 2, we're different sized individuals, so it's a customized gaming chair. So I would like it to custom fit me. I don't want to be sitting on like a little toddler stool.
All right, Tannen, somebody wants to find you. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter under the Tannen Grace. I do actually own that one, Bradley. But yeah, it's the Tannen Grace on there. If you want to find me on Twitch, I stream 3 to 5 times a week, maybe more if there's no tournament going on, because I do travel for tournaments. You can find me on Twitch at just Tannen Grace. And you can message me on Twitter or Twitch or Facebook. And then if you go on my Twitter, my Gmail is there too. If you want to do something about coaching, I have been doing that a little bit recently, and it's actually been a ton of fun. So I'm looking to do more in the future. So let me know if you want to be any part of that. About something we said earlier real quick, the account on Twitter that's doing the stuff for Hellcat MTG for her deck, it is Matt Bedsole, and it's at StunlockFTW. So if that's what you're looking for. They're already done with the whole deck?
Yeah.
Wow, look at the whole deck already. The Magic community is awesome. All right, Rudy, where can they find you?
If you're looking for me, you can find me at the Notorious BZA on Twitter. I do stream once, I think every other month now, at Notorious BZA on Twitch. Pretty sure you can also find my articles at coolstuffinc.com. I have started doing coaching recently. I've started bringing that up. I already have someone that I've been working with, and it's been, as Tannen said, it's actually been a lot of fun. I've been real happy to really getting back into it. So if you're also looking for coaching, and I actually found out I did coaching through our podcast, so that was awesome. So big shout out to Drew Costello, who I've been working with. He's awesome. And so if you're also interested, email me, Twitter me, Facebook me, whatever. But we also have a lot of Grinders Cast MTG stuff. If you're looking for us on Twitter, it's at GrindersCastMTG. If you want to join our Discord is in that Twitter bio. You can also go to my stream, Brad's stream, or Tannen's stream, whether we're online or offline. !Discord or !podcast should get you there, and you can join it. It's free for everyone to join. We have a great time in there. We chat about everything. We do have a Patreon as well. So if you did want to support us in another way besides just listening to us, you can join us on patreon.com/GrindersCastMTG. Any support we have from you is awesome, whether or not it's just you listening by tuning into us on either iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud, or if you do want to support us monetarily, all of it is very much appreciated. We do also have a special channel in our Discord where you have access to us, Tannen, Brad, and I more directly. You'll get our deck list before every tournament pretty much. So we do offer that for our patrons as well, and we're going to start looking into other things sometime in the future. Maybe we'll do something for our bigger patrons, maybe something like a play mat. Maybe that's something that we can do in the future. So let us know if that's something that you're interested in as well, whether or not you did want to support us. But as Tannen said, I think that is going to do it for us this week. I want to give a special thank you to Bradley for doing our intro this week.
Yeah, good job, Brad. God,
but
damn.
Yes. So that is also pretty insane.
The call?
Yeah. I hate you. But this is an exceptionally long episode, so we do thank everyone for, staying with us this entire time. I know there was a lot of information, so do make sure that you follow us on whichever one you like, and you'll get our feed updated generally a few hours after. Our editor, Brent, is amazing and does great work. So
shout out to Brent.
To him,
he's a nut.
Yep. And Besides that, I think that's going to do it for us. Make sure you tune in next year to the SCG Tour as Team Nova dominates Team Cub and Team Lotus Box.
Yo, I hope that sticks. Team McCub.
Where they're chumps, every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just keep remembering, my team's the one y'all keep bringing up when you talk about how good you are and what you want to be.
Except Tannen. Tannen's the non-chump on the team. We love him the most.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be on Team Andy J. And, you know, he's got such strong shoulders. And, you know, I look forward to next year.
Yeah, do you know what's great is directly related? We have Brad, as our, kind of like side member for Team Nova. So, we get some access to Andy J, which means we got that big brain Deckless coming to us.
We're gonna announce Andy J as a new member of Team BCW very soon.
No, you're not.
Nah, Andrew wouldn't do that to me. He's told me.
He definitely would.
He actually did say that we're having a conversation or something. He's like, all right, Brad. He's like, I will join the team, and then I'll make the stipulation that you join, and then I'll quit. And I was like, man, you're such a pal, Andrew.
That's really great.
Andy J really looking out for his friends. Big congrats to Andrew Jessup. Quietly, just one of the best players in the world playing Magic.
Very quietly.
Certainly one of the best on the SCG Tour. It's, disappointing that, he's not going to be playing too much Magic next year, but it's nice to know that he can still show up and dominate everyone. So I think that's going to do it for us this week. Also, big shout out to Team Nova member Austin College for top 4 in his 3rd invitational in a row. That kid's a master. Yeah. But we will catch everyone next week.
See ya.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Why do you do that awful voice?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. No one's in here. John Mulaney, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy shit.
That was a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great.
Look at Tannen, so handsome. I know it's because I don't really look at the Twitch stream, so I don't get to see Tannen's handsome face the whole time it's going on.
Oh, thanks, Bradley.
Aww.
Did I tell you I finally got to make some new photos this week, and they're I think finally going to change my player slide photo that I've been asking for.
Yeah, I also got to take a new picture. In my nice
you're doubling. Take your mic off.
He's not doubling for me.
It was
no, I am.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Because I'm big stupids.
I'm trying to figure out who we're gonna host.
Ooh, we got
that big game.
Dylan Hovey was the one I was gonna host him, but he got off.
Magic together. Hang on, let me scope this out. Who we got? We got some.
I wish I could hope Brad Carpenter, but he's not on.
I'll be on it in a little bit. Don't you worry your pretty little head.
Don't you worry your pretty little head.
Ollie's just crushing. Saying Ollie's just crushing. It's like, obviously like Caleb and Ollie.
Yeah, I if we can avoid hosting somebody that's got like 2,000 people already, it's like probably the best. First F&M is on again. We've been hosting the last couple weeks in a row, but let's try to do somebody different if we can.
Yeah, let's take a look.
There's so many people. Wow, there are infinite people on.
Let's host an arena streamer. Can we do that?
I mean, I'm gonna try. I don't know who. I would like to host somebody I know as well.
I was like scrolling through, and there's a person that looked just like Jonathan Rossum, and at least from like a slight side angle or whatever.
You should host Tannen Grace. That guy's kind of cool.
I kind of know that guy. He's
heard he's a dick.
He's a person. Holy shit, there are so many people.
Yeah.
It's great.
You just host one of these like bottom.
Well, that's what I was doing. I was getting down there. I was gonna start looking.
I was saying like there's a bunch of people with 0 viewers.
I don't know about 0, but let's find. Oh, maybe even 0. Is there anybody you know down here?
No one I know. That's why
I'd love to
get Brian DeMars. Get Brian DeMars.
I don't really know Brian DeMars.
I do. But if you don't,
let me look through here. Let me see if there's somebody I don't. I mean, I know. I don't know that I do know. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna unbox a box of Ultimate Masters sometime in the next week on stream too.
Exciting. Is
that we skipped him last week? Did we skip him last week, F&M? Oh, we hosted Jarvis, didn't we? I guess we could host first F&M again. Hold on, let me go.
Like Jake. He's good peeps.
He's really good.
I don't think I've actually met him, but
from what I've seen, he's good peeps.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually met him either. Maybe
is it actually 11 o'clock?
Yeah, because we went super long. Hold on, I'm looking through like this last little list, and then I'll just go host him if I don't see somebody. Actually, you know what? One of my friends is on streaming right now, and he's got 1 viewer. We're gonna blow him up.
Who is it?
That's awesome.
I'm gonna put it in here. It's a friend of mine, Hal Brady, from the Dallas area.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of his. So everybody give Hal some love. I love me some Hal Brady. He's hilarious. He's also he's also an Open champion. All right, everybody have fun. Thanks for watching. Y'all are all really great. I'll see y'all. If you were just watching for the podcast, I'll see you in the same time next week. If not, make sure you follow the channel, and I'll get to you, at the next stream or whatever. So, everybody, love y'all.
See you guys later tonight, all the broyos.
Yeah. Wait, Brad, did you just get on?
No.
Okay. Someone said Brad just got on.
What? Brad just... Oh, no, he's saying Brad just get on.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm just waving at random shit. Yeah.
Just waving randomly.
Mm-hmm.